Henry. How you doing,
Good
buddy?
evening. Good evening. Good evening, Dave. Good evening. How you doing?
I'm doing well. And we have
Dave,
our special
two of
guest,
you.
Caleb Davidson.
How you
Thanks
doing,
for having
sir?
me.
Welcome to the show.
I appreciate you guys. I did a little pre-show research and watched a little bit of the couple of past episodes, and bread seems to be the hot topic. And then Dave was telling me that you are the bread guy. I know Dave as the bread guy, but I'm now learning that you're the bread guy.
Yeah.
You know, please don't believe everything you see on the internet. I just wear the shirt. I just wear the costume. Yeah. Dave's a man. That's why his name comes first.
So this is what I say about Dave. Dave knows a lot about a lot.
That's true.
He's told me before there's probably fewer things that I can't do than I can.
I've said that before.
There's fewer things that you can't do than you can. I like that.
They won't let me do brain surgery, for instance.
No.
Dave's a jack of all trades.
That's what I found out. You know, when I was trying to do all of the things that we do, the person I call when I'm stuck is Dave. Dave, tell me what to do here.
If Dave can't, he'll point you in the right direction because he knows somebody that does it.
I do know a lot.
He's got me out of a lot of hot spots. He's got me out of a lot of hot spots.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I wouldn't be WordPress wouldn't be in my life if it weren't for you. I can tell you that. I'm wearing my Carolina hat tonight.
We do WordPress too.
Yeah.
Do you really?
Yep.
Who built your site? I'm looking.
Who built Cancer Freeze?
I'm looking at his site right now. His cancer-free site.
Yeah, cancerfreeze.org. I built it.
It
was me.
You built it. See?
Yeah. A long time ago. It really needs an update.
It has been a while.
I've got to work on that.
I can't get you to build anything for me.
Oh, that's not true.
So tell us about you. Tell us about yourself.
Ooh. Cancer Freeze. I guess since we've got time, we'll get the longer version.
We got all the time in the world.
Usually when we go speak, I'll ask them
all night long.
Usually when I go speak somewhere, I'll ask them.
I think we have a delay. I'm sorry. We have a delay. Y'all have to pay attention to that. We've got a delay. I can hear it already.
Yeah, there's a little bit of delay, but we'll be all right. All right. Caleb is the founder of Cancer Freeze, which is a 501c3 charitable organization. It's based in Florala, Alabama, where he lives, and which is right across the line from where I live. And his little thing turned into something really big.
Yeah. It did start really little.
That's how it happened, man.
Yeah, something happened.
2007, right?
January 27th, 2007 was our first event. And I had been in law enforcement for about 10 years. At this time, when this story takes place, I was out of law enforcement and I was building elevators in Panama City Beach, Florida. It was in November of 2006. It was freezing cold. And when we show up to build elevators, it's just a concrete shaft. There's nothing in there. No doors, no nothing. It's just, It's like a chimney. And when I say on the beach, I mean, when you step off the building foundation, you're on the beach sand. We were on the beach. Wind's coming off the Gulf. It's cold. And I asked the guy who I was working with, I said, how much money would it take for you to go jump in the water in the Gulf? And he never slowed down. He said, I've paid to do stuff like that before. I said, what do you mean you've paid to get in the cold water? And he was from Tennessee, and they had done an event called Ski Freeze. It was in Knoxville or Nashville, one or the other. I can't remember. And they paid money on New Year's Day to go water skiing in one of the large rivers up there. And that money that they raised went to the Ronald McDonald House or St. Jude. He couldn't remember. It doesn't matter. And I said, wait a minute, back up. I said, somebody gets a boat and they put it in the river and you pay money to ski behind it. He said, yeah. He said, the last time that I did it, we had to break the ice at the boat ramp to go skiing. I said, I'm all in on that. I want to do that. I said, I'm going to do one for cancer or whatever in Florala. Now, let me explain Florala. When this happened, we had 4 red lights. We now have 2 red lights because the state determined that we didn't need the 2 in the middle. There wasn't enough traffic to mandate them. So we took the 2 red lights. Now we went from a 4 red light town to a 2 red light town.
We're in a Paxton, which is no red light town.
Paxton.
We lost our flashing light.
Caution light.
We lost our caution light.
So he says he was from Florala, but he knew. He said nobody's coming to Florala to see you go water skiing in the wintertime. I said, well, they may not, but I'm going. So that afternoon, I called the American Cancer Society because at that time, and even now, when somebody says cancer, that's usually the first thing that pops into their mind is the American Cancer Society or Relay for Life.
Right.
And I called them. The local office was in Dothan, Alabama, which is about an hour away. And I told them what I wanted to do. And they said, well, what happens if nobody shows up? And I said, well, then I guess you'll get a donation from me because I'm going skiing on the last Saturday in January. So I called one of my best friends from high school whose mother had passed away from cancer. And I told him what I wanted to do. And he said, if you're crazy enough to go skiing, I'll be crazy enough to pull you on the boat. He had a ski boat that I'd skied behind before. I said, all right, well, this is when we're doing it. And I told a few people in town, and I told my uncle, and he made a big pot of gumbo, and 30, 40 people showed up. And I went water skiing with no wetsuit. And it was as cold as you can imagine. Now, and when I say that, people are like, oh, you live in Alabama or you live right close to Florida. Oh, and there's
it must be warm.
Yeah, sure. And there's springs down there. And yeah, but you go to the springs in July. You don't go, it's 68 degrees and the water at the Lake Jackson. Right. It was in the low to mid 50s. That's about average of what it is.
You know, I read today that
people don't know what 50-degree water feels like.
It's not spring fed.
I have heard both, and I don't know if I don't know who to believe. I don't know because I've talked to people that have been to different places in the lake, and it's colder here and warmer there, and whatever. I know when I got in it, it was in the 50s and it was cold. So we raised
cold.
We raised $1,000, and I thought it was the greatest thing ever. We had 25 T-shirts made. Had to give some of them away. And I took that $1,000 to the American Cancer Society in Dothan, and nobody came because they had some other event or whatever. It didn't matter. I wanted to do something. So the next year we did the same thing, and we gave $1,500 to the local Relay for Life team as their fundraiser or whatever. And a few more people showed up. My uncle made another big pot of gumbo, and there was no building down there at the time. No. We just showed up, and I mean, we'd show up at like 10 o'clock on Saturday, and we'd be home by 2. I mean, we were done because there wasn't a whole lot of people getting in the water. They were just down there to see me do it. So year number 3 is kind of when it changed to what it is now. Now it has experienced a lot of change and a lot of growth, but year number 3 is kind of when it moved to, okay, this is what we're supposed to be doing. And this is normally where I stop in the story and say, no matter how many times I give this talk to whatever civic organization or church or group or whatever, I will never, ever say anything negative about the American Cancer Society or Relay for Life or any other organization that raises money for research or whatever. What they do is what they do. Right. Hats off to them.
And they're clear about that. They say, this is what we're doing.
Yep. But year number 3, I had already resigned myself to do it for the Relay for Life team again. And then I learned about a little girl in our community. She was 6 years old. She had blonde hair and blue eyes, and her name was Julie Layton Bryan. And she had retinoblastoma in her left eye. And I knew the dad, I knew the family a little bit. So I stopped by her grandmother's place of work. And I asked her. At that time, they were going back and forth to New York to Sloan Kettering up there for treatment. And I asked her, I said, what do you think? And she said, you just need to call her dad. So I called her dad and I said, Brad, I believe that God's leading us to do Cancer Freeze for Julie. And he said, well, if God's telling you to do it, I'm not going to tell you not to. So year number 3, we hit right at $10,000 in a day. And that's when I knew, okay, now this is what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be helping a person that I can put in front of you and say, this is where your money's going. So year number 4 came along and we had a little food truck show up, and, we had a couple other people show up. I think the newspaper actually came that day.
And the Florala newspaper?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe Andalusia came the next year.
Yeah.
But we had a 17-year-old girl with a brain tumor. Her name was Katie Rhodes, who I saw the other day. She showed up at Cancer Freeze.
Really?
It was
nice.
Yep, it was great.
Julie's still around too.
Julie's still there. I'll get back to her in a minute. So Katie had a brain tumor, and we raised $5,000 for her that day. It was one of the worst weather days ever. It was cold and windy and gray, and it was rough. Next year, and we'd always said in those first 2 years, we said, okay, we're doing nothing but kids. We're going to give money to kids. That's what we're going to do. Until we met Joy Bergens, who was a mother of 3 and couldn't work. And I said, okay, well, maybe I'm getting my mind changed again.
Right.
So we raised $8,000 for Miss Joy, and we gave away everything that we made. The next year we had another change. The next year we had become an official nonprofit. We had our designation. We had formed a board. So we were making steps.
Right.
But we were still broke.
That was year 6, right? So that's the year. That's the year I joined you.
3,
right?
4, 5. Year 5 is the first year that we had more than one recipient.
Okay.
We had 3 recipients 2 years in a row, 5 and 6.
Yeah.
And I said to our board, we had 3 people that we knew about. And I said, I don't think that we can support 3 different individuals, because I knew that we could raise somewhere between $5,000 and $10,000 for one person. And I didn't want to split between $5,000 and $10,000 3 different ways. I know it would help, but
it's not the same impact.
Right. At the same time, I told my board, I said, I can't tell these people your needs are more important than this other person's. So how do you reconcile yourself to, I'm going to choose you over you? And I'll never forget one of our board members, who was our pastor at the time. He said, I think we should do all 3.
See, and God will make a way. I
said, okay, let's do it. And we made $27,000 in a day. And I wrote all 3 of them a $9,000 check, and we were broke again.
Yeah. You're supposed to.
So the next year we did the same thing. We had 3 more, but we cleared about $34,000, $35,000. All right. Well, now I can help someone when they call in July. Now I can help someone when they call in October, and we don't have to wait until February. And we can also get some stuff off of the Davidson credit card, because we had no money in the Cancer Freeze account. It was the Davidson credit card, and then we would recoup whatever off the top and pay what expenses we'd used our credit card for. Well, now we had some operating capital. We had some money that we could use, and it went nuts from there. Now, we're still not in a building. We're still on grass at the pier, string out some extension cords and generators, and that was what it was.
My first year I was on a folding table with speakers sitting next to me. I DJ and MC the event.
Right.
I was and I had like my Team Dave bags hanging off the side of the table.
There are pictures of me before Dave came in. There are pictures of me standing on top of a picnic table with a megaphone. That was our sound system that we were using to try to talk to the 40 or 50 people. All right. So that went to, all right, we're making $20,000, $35,000, $40,000 in a day. Then we added a 5K. Dave's mother-in-law, back then she was the run queen. She was the 5K queen. She was the master organizer.
She's the reason we met, because we met watching a 5K that she was putting on.
If there was a 5K, she was it. She said, I want to do a Cancer Freeze 5K. And our deal with Cancer Freeze was and is, if you come to me with an idea for an event, that's on you. You do it. We have a golf tournament, we have a car show, we have a beauty pageant. Those individuals came to us with those ideas, and those individuals run it. I will do whatever I can to help, but my phone rings enough about Cancer Freeze in general. I can't be the guy for everything.
No.
So we started adding some different events, and we started pulling from different places. Okay, now I got the run folks. Now I got the car show folks. We added a bass tournament. Now I got those folks. So now everybody's joining in to play an active part in someone's battle. And when you put somebody's picture on a poster and you put the story out there on Facebook and the internet, it grabs a hold of people in a different way, right? And
you find out that there are good people in this world.
Yep.
We don't make a lot of noise, but the bad guys get all the attention.
You're exactly right. Sometimes you find out that these people are real, and they're your family members. You go to church with them, you work with them, you went to school with them, or they're just like someone that you know. You know, when we had a 9-year-old little boy, I had a 9-year-old little boy one time. Mm-hmm. It just creates a personal connection with an individual that you can see yourself being in that same situation. And it just means something different. And now at our main event, we stand all those individuals down there in front of everybody. These are the people that are on our poster. These are the people,
and not just them, their families come up there with them too.
Yeah. These are the people that you've been praying for. These are the people whose stories you've seen on Facebook. These are the people whose story you've seen on the website. These are the people that you're here for. You're not here for me. You're not, I'm going to be here one way or the other, but you're here because you want to play an active part in what this family is going through.
Making a difference.
Because it makes a difference when somebody can put a face with a cause and a reason. It makes a big difference. So that was the first 5 or 6 years, and we've had as many as 9 one year. And
that was a lot.
That was a lot. And 5 this year, usually between 5 and 7. That's about average, I think, if we would go back and look. But in those years, it kept climbing and kept climbing and kept climbing. And we kept getting different people from different groups, like the car show and the run and all that stuff. And we started really making some money and really making a difference. Not that we weren't making a difference, but it just compounded it. It just made it to where, okay, now instead of helping 3, 4, 5, 6 people a year, in the last 4 or 5 years, we're averaging between 75 and 85 people per year. And we're giving away $200,000 a year for the last 5 years in a row. And we're up to $2 million and 800 families, and 20 years has gone like that.
Wait a minute. Say that number again.
There it is. There it is.
What? Say that number again.
Look, 20 years.
And so how many people and how much money?
So it took us. So let me back up. I just wanted to see the reaction.
Yeah, good God.
I love
Build me up, will you? I'm
So
sitting here.
We have limits in place, right? We have public and private, right? And we don't share what those are. But if you're on the website, you can see what the private limit is because it's listed right there. That's how much money we've given away to those February recipients in public. And we call them our public recipients because it's really public. Like you can go on there and probably read their stories. And we always tell them, look, I want you to share with me as much as you want to, but don't share something that you don't want somebody to know. But at the same time, I need more than my name is Henry and I have cancer, right? I can't do anything with that. I need you to tell me about your family, about your journey, about your history, about your work, about the bad stuff. Tell the people that are supporting this why you need their help.
Right.
It's not
the difference that they're going to make.
Yeah, it's not about begging. It's about being honest and telling people the real story of what somebody's going through. That's what it's about. That's what
understand it and feel it.
Yep, that's what they need to see. So we implemented limits, private and public, and we tell people we don't have to tell people no. Sometimes we just have to say no more, right? The only requirements we have is to live within 100 miles of Florala and be going through some sort of active cancer treatment. Doesn't matter what kind, right? So 100 miles of Florala gets you to Montgomery, Alabama, and it gets you to east of Panama City, Florida, and gets you to west of Pensacola, Florida. That's kind of the little triangle that we can cover. Not because we don't have the finances to go further than that, but we're really focused on making sure that people know that actual work and hours and prayer and all the stuff goes into making that money. It didn't just materialize, right? And that's what I want people to understand. We could send the check to wherever, but they have no idea what Cancer Freeze is, nor do they care, nor should they. They just want money. I want people to understand the hundreds of volunteers that it takes to do what it is that we're doing and the hours that it takes to make the money that we're making.
How many volunteers do you have?
If you were to ask me just for our Saturday event, and we call that our main event, right? I would say 60 to 75 for just that one day.
Yeah.
Now we do a beauty pageant. We probably have 20
2 weeks before, 3 weeks before.
We do a beauty pageant 2 weeks before. That's probably 20 to 25 volunteers. The car show is the day up. We're moving that, by the way.
Yeah, I heard.
The car show has.
I bet that's gotten big, hasn't it?
It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
I heard. There was 238 cars this year, and we're out of room.
and we're running another big event on the like a block away.
Yep. So those limits are in place. Back to the limits. It took us 15 years to give away $1 million. It took us 5 to give away the second million. So we've given away $2 million in 20 years, and we're right at 800 families in those 20 years. Thank you very much.
That's right.
Congratulations.
It has become.
And ask him what his salary is at Cancer Freeze.
I bet I could guess.
Yeah.
I bet I can guess.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
It's zero. Yeah. I work full time for the sheriff's office.
You still do?
And my wife works part time for the sheriff's office.
What do you do at the sheriff's office?
I'm a court security sergeant at the courthouse.
You remind me of the guys I've worked with all my life. I sat on the Crime Stoppers board of directors here, and you are just like those guys. And we've done so many events, charitable events, and they give their heart and soul. It's a special kind of person that can serve the community. And that's the thing. That's, now that I think about it, that's what it is. That's what you have in common, is that you're serving.
I always feel like there's more to do. And my wife and I had a conversation before I came over here, because we also do we'll get back to cancer free because there's still a ton to talk about. We do and I say we, when I say Cancer Freeze does this, I don't mean that we do it. I mean that my wife organizes it. That's what she does.
Yeah.
We do an Easter celebration. We do a back to school bash that Jennifer, my wife, she's the one that she just organizes it. She's the go-to, and she's the one that tells everybody what we're doing. And she saw something on Facebook earlier that a church in Andalusia had delivered like 300 boxes of cookies to the local businesses. And she's like, we can do that too. I said, can you just give us a minute?
A breath.
Yeah, the big event was Saturday.
You're killing me.
The 7th.
You're killing me. I said, babe, I'll be retired in less than 6 years. Can we let's get to there? And then she's like, there's so much to do. Yes, ma'am, there is. Yep.
Can you believe that was 5 days ago?
No, I cannot. But here's the thing. I really believe that sometimes all people need is just a little bit of direction. And when you just give them something, just give them something to do and they'll run with it. And that's what happened with this back to school bash and this Easter thing. Man, we'll have 20 something churches and businesses out there that can't wait to do whatever. They'll just tell us, hey, can we do this? Yes, you can do whatever you want. This is the day. This is the time. This is what we're doing. And that's what happened with Cancer Freeze. They'll call and say, hey, can I come set up and give away popcorn? Can I come set up and give away hot chocolate? Can I come? Yes, absolutely. Yes, please come.
See, I hear you talking. I hear you. There it is. I hear you talking a lot about the volunteers and the people that, help set this all up. But I think we're overlooking an important issue, and that is it requires leadership. People need to be led. People want to give. They want to do good in their communities, and they want to do all that. But I've got a job, and I've got kids, and I've got this, that, and the other.
Yep.
If someone would step up and lead the effort, I'll follow them. And that's what you're doing.
A lot of times, that's what I'll say is we will take credit for saying yes. That's what we'll take credit for. We'll take credit for being the hands and the feet. And we are unapologetically unashamed giving glory to God. That's that's where we are. I don't care who knows it. And I don't even care if you believe that or not. I'm just telling you from my point of view, it makes no sense for however many 3,000 or 4,000 people to show up on the first Saturday in February and us clear $100,000 in 8 hours. That doesn't make sense to me. I know why it does what it does, and that's what I want people to see. I want them to look at that and say, there's no way that Caleb and Jennifer can do that. That's got to be a God thing.
Yeah.
Yes. Amen.
And gratitude. That's exactly what it is. And I have learned that over the years that gratitude and thanksgiving causes things to manifest themselves. God shows up in those situations.
Yeah. I was telling Dave, when we first started doing it, I knew everybody there. Like the first year, there was like 3 or 4 people that showed up just because they heard that somebody was skiing in the wintertime and they wanted to come wakeboard. I'm like, come on. But I knew everybody there. They were either friends of mine or family of mine that just wanted to see it. And after a few years, I didn't know everybody there. And I didn't even know everybody in the pictures that I saw. And I'm like, when did these people show up? And now I'm not a really good judge of numbers to like how to figure out how many people are there.
It's a lot.
There's people everywhere.
And they all know you.
Like 2,000
they all know you, don't they?
Yeah. And there were still people behind us and at the car show. So I'm saying 3,000 probably.
I would say that,
which is 1,000 more than the people.
Yeah, there's like
live in Florala.
2,000, 2,500 is the population of our town, and it grows to almost double that day. And there's been gas stations that run out of fuel. There's been restaurants that run out of food that day. It's a whole deal.
I know what those feel like. Yeah, I've been there. I've never been involved with a charitable event of this magnitude. Tell me again, how much money have you given away and how many people have you helped?
We will write checks this week that will get us to the $2 million mark that we've donated in 20 years.
This is all from stepping out of a elevator onto a beach.
Started with a conversation. How much money would it take to get you in that water? And he said, I've done stuff like that for free. Actually, I've paid to do stuff like that. Yep. And
Congratulations.
Thank you. It would have been easy. And honestly, my wife and I have been married 23 years. We don't argue. We get along fantastic. She's the greatest person I know. She's the most beautiful woman in the world. However, we do have spirited discussions leading up to Cancer Freeze. And it's not, and it's just because of the stress that we take on. It's just because of the magnitude of, if something doesn't go right, it's on me, right?
Right.
I don't mind it, but it does get heavy. Right? It does. It gets heavy with a full-time job. We got 2 boys in the military. It's a lot. It's a lot.
I was going to ask you about your kids.
Got 2 boys, 20 to be 23 in June, and his baby brother will be, he'll be 20 next December. He just turned 19. Got one in the Marine Corps and one in the Navy.
Mitchell, his oldest, and I share a birthday.
Yep. Yeah,
that's a heavy load.
It is. It is, and I don't take it lightly. And I know I make fun sometimes, and it's kind of a coping mechanism, but it is heavy. And I have been encouraged to, hey man, you need to take some time. And
who put it on you? Who put it on you?
Well, my wife and I say that God gave us this mission to Cancer Freeze. It didn't start out like that. It just started out like, hey, watch me go water skiing with no wetsuit.
Right.
And then that 3rd year, like, I've never heard the voice of God, although I do believe that if he wanted me to hear him, that's what I would hear. But I could take you to the place where I was standing when he got a hold of me and said, you need to call Julie's family. And that's when I realized, all right, this is something different. All right, back to Julie. She did lose her eye. She is cancer-free, but she did lose her eye. And she's got the coolest party trick that I've ever seen, because she can pop it right out and show it to you and then put it back in.
Okay.
Yep. She's a special little girl.
How old is she?
Yeah, she got a glass eye.
That's funny. Good night.
So
you'll never have more than you can carry, though.
That's right.
You'll never have more than you can carry.
And that's when people like Dave come in and he says, I'll do the DJ. And no, I don't think I ever asked Dave to DJ. It's just one of those things like,
I don't remember.
He just wants the attention.
I must have said, yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why
you have a knack for that.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, Dave has a knack for that.
And it has turned into something more than what it was, because used to it was just, hey, we got an announcement. Well, now it's a whole deal. It's he's running sound. He's the lost and found. We're making an announcement. He's playing music. He cooked me a meal in front of everybody the other day, live.
Yeah.
In a few minutes.
What did he make you?
Well, we should back it up. And so,
when was it? 4 or 5 years ago we started doing this?
Yeah, probably about 5 years ago. I decided I was going to do a stunt. And my stunt, well, no, it was probably 10 years ago, because
I don't even remember what all you've done.
When did we do Shave Dave?
We've done Shave Dave. We've done the mustache. We did jumping in the water. We did
underwear on the outside.
Pants. We did this one. That's 5.
Yeah. I've done a few things.
It's been several years. The Dave's decided he wants to do this in order to raise additional money.
Right. So I give them a time limit and I start the music and I say, all right, within this time, come and fill the bucket, fill the bag, and this year it was a pot. I put an empty stock pot in front of them. But before all that, the reason why we do this is why I say anyway, is I make them sit down.
Yeah.
I bring out 2 chairs and I make him and Jennifer sit down. I think the first year was just you, and then she joined you the next year. And I said to the whole audience, I'm like, listen, it's the first and the last time you will see them sit down today. So let them enjoy this.
Yeah.
And they get like 5 minutes or whatever it is. And so this year, because it was the 20th Cancer Freeze, I queued up the restaurant music, and I had my cohort in sound reinforcement ski help me bring out a table that we had covered with a blanket.
Now wait a minute, back up. He tells us to close our eyes first.
Oh yeah.
We don't get to see anything.
Okay.
Close your eyes. And then I'm talking, I have a lapel mic on, and I'm saying, imagine yourself at a fancy restaurant.
Oh man.
With a few thousand of your closest friends.
You're setting it up.
Setting it up. In the meantime, we've brought out a table and set it up, and we had a blanket over the table, so he couldn't have possibly seen it before I bring it out.
I saw the table covered to the right of the DJ booth prior to this happening, and I almost pulled it over because I know everything that goes on at Cancer Freeze. I mean, with Jennifer and I know everybody and everything because we got a list: who's here, what they're doing, and I almost pulled. I was like, I ain't know my business. Whatever. So then
he knows everything except for what I'm going to do that day.
Yeah.
So we bring out the table, we take off the cover, tell him to open his eyes, and it's set up with plates, and give him a cloth napkin, and there's a stock pot on the front of the table. I've got a cooktop on one end of the table next to Caleb, and under my DJ table, all morning I'd been cooking sous vide elk ribeye bone-in steaks, like tomahawks, and so I'd been cooking them sous vide so that I could cook them really quickly on the fly. Right. And I had some eggs that I brought from home, and then I had some sourdough bread that I had made the night before, and so bring it all out, and I show the audience the empty pot. I say, the pot's empty. It's your job to fill it up while I cook them a romantic dinner in front of everybody.
That is brilliant.
It was. So I'm head down, eyes closed, and when I open my eyes, I see a table, full set, plates, Jennifer sitting beside me, and a pot in front of me, and I couldn't make myself figure out what was coming next. Like, he's told me before, all right, if we make X number of dollars within 3 minutes, I'll jump in the water or whatever. There was no lead up, no nothing. And I'm trying to figure out, all right, what are we going to put money on the plate and put our hand on top of it? What are we doing? And he walks over and uncovers this pot of hot water and pulls out the steaks. And I was like, we're going to cook something right here? Like, this is what we're going to cook something now?
Right now.
And he did. And it was fantastic. And they raised
$773 in about 6 minutes.
And the time it took him to cook 2 steaks and 4 eggs.
Congratulations, man! That is brilliant.
It was fantastic. Yeah, if you'd have given me a list of things to pick from, what's he going to do? I couldn't have got there from here. It was pretty fantastic, and well appreciated because usually it's quite a bit later before we get to eat. So I was well fueled for the rest of my day.
So are the events pretty much the same time of year, or are you doing this all year long?
So the main event is always the first Saturday in February.
Right. And
on that day, we have a bass tournament, pancake breakfast, auction, raffle, kids events, inflatables, 5K around the lake. Actually starts in Alabama, goes into Florida, and ends up back in Alabama. We have the car show. What else? That's a lot for that one day.
That's a whole lot.
It's a whole lot. But we didn't add all that at one time, right? It was right. We're going to add this.
Oh yeah,
and then a couple years later we'll add that.
I've got something for you to add. I've got something for you to add. I just thought about it, but we'll talk about it later.
Okay. The beauty pageant is 2 weeks prior to the main event.
How does that work?
Our queen. We had 95 girls this year. We've had it in about 3 different places, all within about 30 minutes of each other. And I won't say his name because I didn't ask him, but there is a gentleman who is a master pageant director. Like that's what he does. And he has said before, you know, he's got girls that he kind of trains, right? He walks them through, tells them this, that, the other. He has said the Cancer Freeze pageant is the only one that you can do without my permission. And that, to me, that means a lot because I really respect his opinion. And I always give a speech. My wife and I give a speech, and the short version is tolerate pageant mama drama at this pageant, because my fear would be some little girl who wants to walk in honor of her granny that passed away from breast cancer has a negative experience at our pageant, and she doesn't want to do them again. I don't want that to happen. So I always tell them, look, if you're here for a trophy, if you're here for a crown, take your entrance fee, go down to the trophy shop, and they'll make you whatever you want to make. Exactly. They'll put your name on it and all. If you're here, this is not just another beauty pageant, right? This is not just another car show. This is not. If you're here for that, keep your money. This ain't gonna work for you.
Right. Yeah, I've seen that on TV.
Offense. No offense. No, I ain't mad at you. I still love you, but that's not what we're about.
No, I agree with
we have a golf tournament usually in the fall, and those are those fundraising events, and that way we can kind of keep the money coming in so we can keep the money going out.
Well, sign me up for the golf tournament and the bass tournament.
All right.
I'll bring
we did move the car show this year. We had to move the car show because we're we out of room.
Yeah.
And it has turned into an event by itself. I mean, it is a main event.
Yeah, I can imagine. Where are you having the car show?
It's like 1 block away from the lake.
Yeah.
My gosh.
It's pretty wild. It's pretty wild that many people are there.
They closed down the street. We basically had 3 city blocks. This year we had 3 city blocks with cars on both sides. That's what we had this year.
Man,
this is going to be a really cool picture in that video.
Yeah.
There's some YouTube videos out there. If you just in your spare time, just search Cancer Freeze, and we've got a guy that comes and does video and pictures, and he puts it to music. Does a really good job.
He's talking about Chuck.
No, Chuck does some, but Mendoza is the one that.
Oh, Mendoza, that's right.
He does. He's getting really good.
He does some pretty pro stuff. I was really impressed with his video last year.
Yeah.
He hadn't put out his video yet.
He told Jennifer it should be ready Saturday.
Well,
he's getting close.
I mean, dang.
Got a week. Come on.
He has all kinds of footage.
Yeah.
So yeah, no surprise there. No surprise there. So Henry, before you throw out your idea, I just want to remind you that Caleb said you can do anything you want as long as you run it. So
yeah,
so you might want to hold.
I remember
you might
that.
hang on to that. Just keep that one under your hat, man.
So years ago, I worked for the town of Blythewood, and I was
South Carolina.
Okay.
I did a little bit of everything. I was the event coordinator, planner, town events, and we were a barbecue town, so we always had these barbecue competitions, and so we did a huge barbecue competition where they come out and set up their display and bake overnight, cook overnight, and all of that. Yep. So I had a contact with a guy who had a hot air balloon. He used to have a hot air balloon here in town. So somehow or another, we put it together. And we called it Balloons, Blues, and Barbecue.
Nice.
Hot air balloons, blues music, and barbecue over 2.5, 3-day period. And the hot air balloons would take you up, on tethers and come back down. But then they had a race. They all went up in the air. I think on the big day that we had, the second year, we had maybe 20 hot air balloons, which is a spectacle. And they go, 20 miles down that way, turn around somehow or another. and come back. One of our little manufacturers in town made grits. So he had these little packets of grits, and we had a huge target on the ground, and the winner of the hot air balloon competition
great.
had to hit the target with a bag of grits.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's
Now
how
that's
I knew
gotta be
about.
part of it.
We shut the
I wanna
town.
be in
That's
the
how we
balloon
knew we shut the town down, man. We
Yeah.
didn't let the police know. We didn't let the troopers know. We had no idea, and it just
Oh,
yeah. People were parking along the interstate, walking. Yeah, it was bad.
You're lucky you didn't get in trouble.
Yeah, it was.
So we have a comment in the chat. Rhonda says she has been in remission for 15 years and she appreciates
Fantastic.
your work.
Congratulations,
awesome.
Rhonda. That is
True
outstanding.
I tell you, that's one of the hardest things for us is the roller coaster of good news and not so good news, right? Because I'll get a phone call one day, just like Miss Rhonda's comment. I'm in remission. I'm good to go. Or I'm going into maintenance phase. Or I just rung the bell today or whatever. And then the next day we'll get something the opposite. You know, treatment has done all it can do and there are no more trials. And it's a really emotional roller coaster for Jennifer and I to have to deal with all that. Because these families that we love on them, they love on us, they share with us. I shouldn't say all of them. Some of them, and I'm good either way. Some of them are very private,
Right,
and understandably, and we may not hear as much from them after their event as we do others. Some of them come back every year, or they're walking in the 5K, or they're looking for a job at Cancer Freeze. But the emotional part for us is it's really hard to deal with. I didn't have a good treatment today, or I don't know where we go from here. That's tough.
I imagine the children are also tough.
We had 3. So our 5 recipients this year, 3 of them were 6-year-old boys. And Axel, they're kind of in a holding pattern. They're not getting the best reports right now, but there may be an okay reason for that. But they got to wait some time to figure out if it's one or the other.
If it's the treatment causing it to look like it's bad.
So you read the same thing that I read.
Yeah, I read it.
There's a lot of hope right now for cancer treatment.
Yep.
There's technology is moving so fast that we're making some progress in that regard. I know we made some progress in brain cancer, but it can't move fast enough.
No, you're right. And I tell people, I actually had a guy at the car show. He's been to several of our car shows, and he's like, man, I wish there was one day where there wasn't anybody that we do this for. I said, I agree. I would love to do Cancer Freeze just because it's a lot of really cool things happening in one day. I would love to be able to not put anybody on a poster. And that's what I always say. I said, nobody wants to be on our poster. Nobody wants to be on our website. It is not an enviable place to be, because when that happens, things are not good in your world. There was a local individual here who saw me walking from where I was to where she was because I knew that her husband had cancer. And she said it broke me. She said, because I knew why you were coming. I said, well, you knew I was coming. She said, I know you were coming. But just to see that reality of who you are and what you represent, coming to where I was, knowing what I was dealing with, she said, it was gut wrenching. And I said, I promise you, I didn't want to make that walk any more than you wanted me to make it. But that's what we do. We tell people all the time, we consider it a blessing to be a blessing to others. However you want to look at that, whether you want to look at it in a religious tone or not.
No, that's incredibly important. Being in a position to bless people.
Yep. And I don't. This is what they'll say. Well, what can I do? What can I do? I don't want you to do anything. I want you to focus on you, and then when you feel led to do whatever, we'll try to help you do that. Most of the people in February, that's like, I want to work. I want to do this. I want to do that. Your time will come next year. If you want to do something. So one of the individuals that we had one year is no longer with us, but his parents come back every year. And his dad makes these beautiful metal welded sculptures, and he donates them to the auction, and they give something to all the recipients. That's they're doing it in memory of their son. And there's nothing more touching to me than doing something with that much magnitude and that much heart and love as losing your child to cancer, but not allowing that to define who you are or stop what you're doing. And they just keep paying it forward, keep paying it forward, and keep paying it forward.
That's a tough one.
It is. It is. Lots of blessings, though. We try to make that day as positive as possible, right? Because we know what these folks are going through, and we try really, really hard to make sure that that day is positive and bright and full of energy and all the good stuff.
Yeah. It needs to be the highlight of their year.
Yep.
And
it sounds like it already is.
Well, it is. It's a highlight of my year, and I'm not a recipient, because watching the people that are affected by cancer or move to help people that have cancer, it's an experience that's really hard to explain.
Yeah, it is. We tell people. I had a guy tell me one time. He says, "Man, my insides are vibrating." He said, "I cannot explain," and it really is hard to explain. Like, I can tell you all about it. You can see the pictures in the video, but we have recipients tell us, the money helps. Absolutely. When you write somebody a check, and I tell people, look, we can't pay your hundreds of thousands of dollars in medical bills. We can pay for extra nights in a hotel. We can keep the gas in the car. We can keep food on the table. We can keep lights on. That's the stuff that we try to really focus on. But They'll tell me, like, the money's important. But when I stand there and see those thousands of people that are there to support me, that's just to feel that I'm not alone in this. That's an incredible feeling for those individuals. And that's what I tell them. Look, they're not there for me. They're there for you. So let them love on you. Let them pour into you. Let them try to get you to where you need to be.
That's such an amazing story.
It's a cool thing. It really is.
Yeah, it really is. That's a blessing.
It is.
Thank you for sharing that. That's a blessing. I'm fortunate, to have healthy kids and be in a position to help other people. I'm glad you're doing what you're doing. There's not many people that have the wherewithal, leadership ability to put something like this together and hold it together and do what you're doing. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Yeah. 20 years doesn't seem like 20 years until you look back at some of the pictures and the stories, and you're like, man, that was a long time ago. We're still kicking.
That means you got your head down. You're working.
Yeah. It is a lot of work.
Time.
Miss Jennifer walks around with a clipboard all day, the day of Cancer Freeze, and she makes notes. And she was making notes on Sunday about what we need to do next year. All right, we did this year. We need to do that next year. So it's almost never ending. Like, it slows down sometimes, but it never stops.
Never stops.
No, it never stops.
Never stops.
It's a machine.
When I had my business, I printed T-shirts in the back, and I printed Cancer Free shirts for, I don't know, several years.
Yep.
And man, it was like we started early and ended just barely on time, no matter what.
I think we got our shirts one year on a Friday. The Friday before Saturday.
That was
woo, as close as we could cut it.
I was sweating bullets about that one. And I worked hours and hours and hours to make that happen. And all the time I'm running a business, just like he's working a job.
Yep.
And Jennifer's doing her thing. And man, so it's a true.
You need a bread vendor. You need a bread vendor. Let me come down there and be a bread vendor.
Henry,
you can last about 1 hour, bud.
So I'm glad you brought up vendors. So we have a deal. The deal is, We don't allow anyone to make money at Cancer Freeze except for Cancer Freeze. Now, I never want anybody to lose money, right? I would never ask somebody to lose money. So let's just say that Henry's bread
kitchen.
table,
Henry's Bread Kitchen.
Henry's Bread Kitchen comes down, all right? And you're going to sell some bread. Whatever your cost is, you keep that, right? I don't want you to lose money. But anything that's profit goes to Cancer Freeze just for that day.
Man, that would be that's more than enough. I would do it just to contribute. That would be my way of contributing.
Yeah, we have some that do that. Like we have a church. We don't put anything into it. They bring the people, the grill, the burgers, the dogs, they bring it all.
Mm-hmm.
That's their mission project. They bring everything. Other places like, all right, we'll buy the hot dogs if you'll just sell them out of the window, right? We have food trucks that show up. They'll just cut us a check at the end of the day. Here's what we would have taken home, but we're giving it to y'all. Cool. And we'll shout them out on Facebook, and we'll go see them whenever they're set up somewhere, and we'll tell people to go see them.
Right.
I don't want anybody to lose money, but if you're sticking money in your pocket, you're taking it out of somebody's that's battling cancer. And
That's
I can't,
It's unacceptable.
I can't deal with that. I'm not, that's not okay with me.
Well,
No.
we had somebody
Yeah.
this year
Yeah.
set up across the street.
Yeah.
Oh no.
And I had to make the announcement. I was like, well, somebody's decided to break the rules this year, and they're right up here at the doctor's office parking lot, set up their barbecue truck. And so y'all don't go visit them.
It would be different if they didn't know,
But they knew.
but they knew.
They knew?
That's
I heard later there was a conversation
yeah.
prior to.
Yeah,
That's
they knew.
ridiculous.
That's
So-
frustrating.
I mean,
And
how
and
are you
to,
going to steal from people that are fighting cancer?
and
My
to
gosh.
me, and this is just me, and I'm not saying it. I'm not saying this is right. I'm just saying this is me. When you do that, that's a road you don't come back from with me.
No.
Love you, mean it. We're done.
Right.
But here's the heartbreaking thing that some people won't understand. If that person calls me tomorrow and they've been diagnosed with cancer, I'm gonna help them just the same.
Yes, you will.
Because it's
Vengeance.
gonna break them to have to do that.
And vengeance isn't yours, right?
Right.
Right.
Right. It's just frustrating because come on, man. I mean, come on.
There's only so much you can do. There's only so much
one
you
day.
Yeah, really. Really.
It's the human animal.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true. Well,
I used to. I tell people, I'm 49, and when I was growing up, I didn't know anybody that had cancer. And then it was I knew somebody that knew somebody. And now, I mean, even if I wasn't doing Cancer Freeze, I would still be able to name you 10 or 15 people. Now everybody knows somebody that you're either related to them, you go to church with them, you go to school with them, you work with them. Everybody knows somebody.
yeah.
Right.
And it's just, man, it's a monster. And I tell people, when you hear that word,
The C
it
word.
will take center stage of your life.
Yeah. We started last year with these cards where everybody.
Yeah.
wrote, I'm freezing for a reason is the tagline for Cancer Freeze. So I'm freezing for, and then it has a blank, and you just write that person's name that has cancer that you're just standing in support of them.
It's cool. I really like that.
And then one of Caleb's friends wrote a song.
Yep.
And recorded it, and
Didn't know what we were going to use it for when he wrote it. It's two friends of mine. They performed. They've been to the Grand Ole Opry. They were big into music. They're local. They wrote the song, performed it, sent it to me. Says, "Here, this is your song. You do what you want to with it." That was years ago.
it's a good thing they
Wow.
said that because I did what I needed to do.
So and I'll tell you more about that in a minute from last year. But Major League Baseball actually did it. I stole it from them because during the playoffs, they have a stand up to cancer. I think it's by MasterCard or whatever it is. stand up to cancer. I'm standing up for whatever. And somebody, a loved one of ours, said, hey, y'all need to do that for Cancer Freeze. So we designed these little cards. I'm freezing for. It's got all little different colored ribbons on it. And I texted Dave, or I emailed him a song last year. I was like, hey, can you make this, chop it, whatever you need to do. And I sent the guy a message asking him, hey, can I change this and cut it up and make it fit to what we want to do? And he never saw it. Oh, it'll be all right. He called me the morning of Cancer Freeze last year. He's like, hey, man, this is Rob. Do whatever you want to with the song. It's yours. Well, good thing, because here we're going to do this in
about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the guy, he sang the song, and his buddy James, his name's James, but they call him Jamie.
I have to break just for a second. We're in Florala, Alabama is where the event happens.
First Saturday in February. Florala, Alabama is half the name FLOR from Florida, ALA from Alabama. Florala, Alabama. It's right on the state line. It's 100 miles due south of Montgomery, right on the state line.
And I live in Paxton, Florida, which is the first city in Paxton or in Florida at the line. So we're state line neighbors.
Yep.
But
so the guy that wrote the songs named James Singletary. Rob McMillan sang the song, but they had a group called Robert and James. Jamie's wife actually works in the courthouse where I work at. And last year, I walked into her office. She works in the clerk's office. I walked in, and she said that James had seen the video, and that he was blown away. He's like, they're using my song. I wrote that song. And he was just ecstatic. And it took us a couple of years to figure out, but that's exactly what we're supposed to use that song for. So that's going to be part of it every year as far as I'm concerned. It's really cool.
And so what's the website again? What's the website again?
Cancerfreeze.org.
Cancerfreeze.org. Can we make donations there? Can we give there?
Yeah, cancerfreeze.org/donate. That'll take you to not Cash App, Venmo, and PayPal.
PayPal,
yeah, Venmo and PayPal.
Okay. Excellent.
I threw it up on the screen before, and I'll throw it back up. Cancerfreeze.org.
I love this. Well, you have been a pleasure to get to know, young man.
Thank you, Mr. Henry. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for what you do.
Thank you.
Not everybody can do what you do, can lead the way you're leading. That's a blessing on your life right there, to be able to give as much as you're given and facilitate as much joy and happiness that has to come through you in order to reach people. It takes a special person to do that. You're a servant.
I just think that's what we're supposed to do.
Yep.
I think that we're supposed to do, the simple version of do the best you can with what you got, and
be the hands and feet.
That's it. That's it. People ask, like, how in the world do y'all still go? And like, I said, man, anybody can do it. You pick your passion and you just commit to say, I'm going to do this at the same time every month, year, whatever, and just do it.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. We have first-time visitors every year at Cancer Freeze. And they'll see these 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 people and these 200 cars and all these people. And they're like, that's really cool. It's a lot of work. Yeah. You didn't see us at year 1 or 2.
Right. In year 1 or 2.
Yeah. 30 or 40 people.
It didn't make sense. You would sit back. I know what that's like when you sit back and you look around and you think, okay, I'm working towards something, but it's a passion. That's what keeps you going.
Yep.
And one day it just, the switch gets flipped.
Jennifer has said many times, she said, I want to quit. I don't want to do this anymore. Okay. We'll quit tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she won't do it.
Right.
No, she ain't going nowhere.
Tomorrow never comes.
We got too much to do. Well, we have learned to take breaks. We have learned to refresh. We have learned, hey, we're going to go hiking for 2 or 3 days. Our phones don't work. We're unreachable. We'll get back to you whenever we get back to you.
Good for you.
That's important. It really, you gotta recharge and refresh, or
you'll burn out.
You'll burn out. So it has been a welcome. Hey, time out. We deserve it, right? I mean,
yes, you do.
Speaking of, I knew Caleb was coming, so I made bread.
Did you?
I'm going to go over and get the bread. I'll be right back.
All right.
What kind of bread did he make today? Because I made bread.
Yeah, what you make, Henry? I can still hear you.
I made, Caleb, have you ever heard of yeast water?
Yeast water, I have not. I know what yeast is, and I know what water is.
So yeast, commercial yeast is the little stuff you buy in the packets, right?
Right.
And sourdough is from wild yeast that lives on your skin, lives on the flour. It's wild, and we cultivate it. Okay. And yeast water is where you take a fruit like blueberries, in my case, blueberries and raisins, put them in some water and let the yeast, we cultivate the yeast in the water. So after a few days, it starts to smell a little bit like alcohol, ferments.
Ferment, yep.
The yeast is happening. And you swap a little bit of that out for the water you would otherwise put in your recipe. And you use that to leaven your bread, to make your bread rise. And it has a little bit of a flavor, but it's just an experiment. And we just got through doing a lot of that in the academy. And mine came out nicely. This is the crumb.
Oh my.
And nice. I wouldn't have expected that. But that, it's a small loaf, but it's delicious.
All right, so dumb it down for me. If you're doing it that way versus if I'm just going to make some bread, is it taste? Is it texture? Is it what is it that's going to make it that much different?
It's
all those things. Dave says all those things.
Yeah, I was going to say, where are you going to start? It's all those things. Dave, take a look at my yeast water bread.
Nice. Yeah, I saw your picture earlier. I think you said nothing went right, but it still turned out good.
Yeah, nothing went right with this bread. So it takes a while. There you go. That's Dave's specialty right there.
This is sourdough.
That's a sourdough?
Dude, I got this figured out now. Sourdough sandwich bread.
All right. So you've heard how bread is fattening and bread is bad for you. Look at that. Nicely done.
Thank you.
Yeast eats sugar. Yeast are required to make your bread rise. Yeast eats sugar. So commercial bread, they have to dump a bunch of sugar in there to feed the yeast, which is one thing that causes it to be bad for you. Sourdough bread is naturally leavened, and the proteins that would otherwise cause a lot of people to be sensitive to bread, gluten insensitivity, get broken down in the process of fermentation. So people who are gluten sensitive generally can eat sourdough bread and be fine. There's a lot more flavor.
I learned something new today.
So I made I put some olive oil, some Tuscan seasoning, a little sprig of rosemary, some coarse salt to dip this in. My goodness.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Before we go though, and I do have to take off at our regular time tonight. I've got my daughters in town. I want to just mention that we've got the Bake Along this weekend on Saturday in the Academy. We're doing focaccia, and it's the original focaccia. You can find it on the recipe pantry, and join us if you can. The recipe pantry. There you go.
Look at that.
It's Ligurian focaccia. It's the original. It's the one where you have a crispy glass-like crust and just pillowy soft interior. It's going to be amazing. All right, guys. I'm going to leave the rest of it to y'all because I've got a little girl.
We're not going to make everybody sit here and watch us eat. So I thought about it, but no, we're not going to do that. No, look at cheers, everybody.
Cheers. Let's break bread together.
Mr. Henry, it's a pleasure meeting you.
It was very nice to have met you, sir. Thank you for what you do in this world.
Yes, sir.
Give my best to that wife of yours. I know she
deserves
credit
it.
for this.
She
Yes,
does.
I know she does. Dave,
right.
it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure again.
Always
You've
a
got
pleasure,
good friends
sir.
around you.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching. We had viewers the whole time, which is awesome.
Yep.
And like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.
We'll see you next week.
Counterculture.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.